Good evening and welcome to the evening news. In the headlines, redesigning new Amila project on government's agenda. Guyana, China signed $8 million memorandum of understanding for projects. And government rejects call for inquiry into education sector. I'm Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for joining us for your Thursday, August 29, 2013 edition of the evening news. Now for the details. Even as the Amila Hydro Falls power project is on the brink of a collapse, the government of Guyana is turning to international agencies to aid in the redesigning of a new hydropower project in the country. Swatana Marshall reports.
Head of the Presidential Secretariat, Dr. Roger Luncheon, today said more stakeholders have withdrawn their support for the Amila Falls hydropower project. His comments come days after the Inter-American Development Bank (IDB) seized the due diligence report on the Amila Falls hydropower project.
For all intents and purposes, that project, with that specific design, is dead. Whatever small windows of opportunity that were mooted to exist appear less and less likely to be available to the stakeholders to resuscitate the project with its current design.
He, however, made it clear that the vision of utilizing renewable energy in Guyana is not dead. According to Dr. Luncheon, in wake of the current collapse of the Amila Falls hydropower project, there is now a proposal by international agencies to redesign a hydropower project for the country.
Already, interests have been expressed by multilateral and bilateral sources in redesigning a project that would utilize our hydropower potential specifically at the Amila Falls to keep our dream, our thrust for renewable energy playing a transformative role in the lives and the economy of Guyana.
Recently, an analysis done using historical rainfall and river flow measurements from several locations in the region of Amila Falls has indicated that potential energy can be generated. Reporting for the evening news, I'm Swatana Marshall.
Meanwhile, the due diligence report that was being performed on the Amila Falls hydropower project to guarantee its credibility is now at a halt. As such, the public review that was slated to be carried out on the project can no longer be a reality. We have details in this report.
According to the Finance Ministry, the halting of the International Development Bank's due diligence study is as a result of the work of the Partnership for National Unity, APNU. The main coalition party was asked to join other political parties in order to reach a consensus to allow the IDB to complete its last few weeks of work on the project's due diligence report. Additionally, the completed report would have facilitated a 6-week public review of the Amila Falls hydropower project. The Finance Ministry said after having spent millions of dollars on the project, the IDB's expertise would have erased any doubts and answered lingering questions put forward by the APNU. The ministry added that this is yet another clear indication that the APNU's goal is not to gain a better understanding of the project. It further added that unless there is a rapid change in the APNU's willingness to let the IDB do its work and to let the people of Guyana have their say during the 6-week public review process, then the project is dead. The ministry believes that if the APNU was serious about the project, they would accept an invitation to present their questions and concerns. For the evening news, Leanna Bradshaw.
The Bank of Guyana today officially presented Guyana's first credit bureau with its license to operate business here. Credit Info, which will allow Guyanese easier financial access, will go into operation in December 2013. Here's more from Leanna Bradshaw.
Iceland company Credit Info was on Thursday granted its license to operate as the first credit bureau in Guyana, following a long selection process among 4 other requests from international operators. According to Governor of the Central Bank, Lawrence Williams, the granting of license to Credit Info stemmed from the Financial Sector Assessment Program of 2005-2006 and the Economic Summit of 2007.
Attention was drawn to the difficulties faced by small and medium-sized enterprises with limited or no acceptable collateral, and a large segment of the population that is unable to access credit due to the absence of reliable credit history.
As such, a legislation was drafted and enacted in 2010 to provide for the establishment of a credit reporting industry to facilitate the provision of information about potential borrowers from a credible source. Finance Minister Dr. Ashney Singh welcomed the new initiative for Guyana, noting that it signals a milestone achievement for the financial sector. He said it will allow goods and services providers and other potential borrowers increased access to loans for investment.
The ease with which financial institutions and potential lenders will be able to verify creditworthiness is significantly improved, will be significantly improved with the establishment of a credit bureau. The ease with which and the cost at which individuals will be able to take a loan, including loans, like I said, for the establishment or expansion of a small business, will significantly improve with the coming into operation of a credit bureau.
Credit Info's Senior Manager of Group Business Development said his company stands ready to serve the Guyanese populace with world-class service. Guyana is the 16th country in which Credit Info has expanded its services to.
At this moment, Guyana will be the 16th country that Credit Info is currently operating a credit bureau in. Based on the framework that Guyana has now in place, the stage is set for a very successful venture that will contribute various benefits to consumers, companies, entrepreneurs, and the economy as a whole. Easier access to credit for consumers, lenders will have more information and more accurate information to make credit decisions. Impressive individual credit histories will help entrepreneurs to get loans for the great business idea.
A credit bureau is a company that collects information from various sources and provides consumer credit information on individual consumers for a variety of uses. It also provides information on individuals' borrowing and bill-paying habits. For the Evening News, Leanna Bradshaw.
This morning, 4 employees of the Guyana Revenue Authority, the GRA, were stuck in the entity's elevator for over an hour. Speaking during an invited comment, Commissioner General of GRA, Kershit Sattar, said that while he's not sure how it happened, it is presumed that since the elevator is new to the environment, persons have been found playing with the buttons. Were this the case, the elevator could have been easily malfunctioned, he opined. The employees were rescued by firefighters who broke the elevator to gain entry. The governments of Guyana and China today signed an $8 million memorandum of understanding, which would see funding being provided for several economic and social projects here. Here are details.
Finance Minister Dr. Ashney Singh has lauded Guyana's relationship with China as he inked a new aid agreement worth millions of US dollars, which will see several new projects being undertaken for the benefit of Guyanese.
We are constantly looking at shared opportunities for cooperation, and so there isn't like a discrete commencement point. Once a project is identified that falls within the areas of interest that the Chinese government has historically supported or is interested in supporting, we would propose the project, they would consider it, and then once examined, proceed to approve it.
Meanwhile, the Chinese ambassador Zhang Limin stated that China has committed to offering aid to Caribbean countries. He noted that China has always supported development growth in economic and social areas. During the signing, it was emphasized there are mutual benefits for both countries through bilateral relationship and friendship shared. Both dignitaries noted they look forward to furthering cooperation in the economic sector and increasing the business investments in Guyana and China.
Tourism Minister Irfan Ali says within a week and a half, Guyana and Caribbean Airlines representatives are scheduled to have further discussions on airfares. More from Sabatini Daniels.
The tourism minister disclosed that the follow-up dialogue between Guyana and Caribbean Airlines CAL representatives will look at a revised fare structure for Guyanese, since during the summer season this posed severe burden on persons traversing Guyana's route. Speaking to this newscast during an interview, he said CAL will soon hold high-level meetings with the Trinidadian authorities, immigration officers and airport authorities in relation to the reported harassment of Guyanese when they are in transit in Trinidad.
The present fee structure is a progressive fee structure. Maybe sometimes you can get a return ticket at $400, but then it goes up very high. So, as I said, they're relooking at this structure, maybe to bring it to a more median level, where there is a more affordable and viable fee structure across the board. So this is something that they're looking at continuously.
Ali added that Guyana is also working with CAL to have additional airlift for the Christmas season.
They have already assured of a 30% increase in their seating capacity to come in for Christmas. So you'll have, they already had a high increase last year in terms of their physical infrastructure, but they have now assured us that they'll put on a 30% increase in seating capacity. So you'll have 30% more seats during the Christmas season coming into Guyana.
Meanwhile, turning his attention to Fly Jamaica, the minister noted that the airline has made progress in finalizing its documentation with the U.S. government, hence it should commence operations in Guyana soon. Sabatini Daniels reporting for the Evening News.
Tourism Minister Irfan Ali has disclosed that during Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro's visit to Guyana, the two countries will seek to strengthen their tourism relations. Here's Sabatini Daniels with the details.
In light of talks that Venezuela and Guyana are expected to sign an agreement during Venezuelan's President Nicolas Maduro's visit to strengthen tourism between the two countries, Tourism Minister Irfan Ali has remained tight-lipped on this but revealed a component of the visit will deal with tourism. In an interview with this newscast, he said Guyana looks forward to exploring the possibility of joint partnerships and the possibility of having links with Venezuela, especially relating to the tourism sector.
Which is a very large market, a market with great opportunity for our tourism, and to be a catalyst in the development of the tourism sector for both countries.
He said Guyana is looking forward to have a very productive dialogue with the President, which will lead to the opening of new markets as well as the expansion of markets for the country. The Venezuelan President is due to visit Guyana on Saturday, August 31, with a high-level delegation. Bilateral discussions will also be held between Presidents Donald Ramotar and Maduro, following which local officials and their Venezuelan counterparts will meet. The visit will conclude with a social encounter. Sabatini Daniels reporting for the Evening News.
More news still ahead. Stay tuned. You're watching the Evening News. This is the Evening News. Welcome back. The New Guyana Pharmaceutical Corporation, New GPC Inc., today rewarded 3 students with bursary awards after they performed well at a recently completed National Grade 6 assessment. Details in this report.
The students who are awarded are Shalima Muhammad, Jonathan Motiram, and Aaliyah Dodson. Additionally, the company expressed its gratitude to 6 work-study students for their contributions during their stint at New GPC by presenting them with tokens, certificates, and checks to the tune of $25,000 each. The company's human resource manager, Faye Scott, told the awardees that this is the beginning of their career and encouraged them to strive for excellence.
That you have to work hard if you want to achieve. Generally in life, you must work hard if you have to set your goal. Now is the time to set your goal. You're never too young to set your goal. Once you set your goal and you work towards it, you can achieve it. Nothing is too hard.
She urged parents to work with their children and give them proper guidance, since they will need this.
A child is going to be a child if that child is left on his or her own. Your responsibility is to ensure that the child does his or her homework and all other things that goes with it. You will have to minimize the television. The journey has just begun. You will have to minimize that thing called television, telephone, computer, unless it's schoolwork.
The New GPC Annual Bursary Awards began in 1999 and have gradually increased over the years. Sabatini Daniels reporting for the Evening News.
Secretary of the University of Guyana Student Society, Adele Lilly, says the body continues to function following the suspension of its president, Ganesh Mahipal, with focus on advocacy and representation for students. Details in this report.
The University of Guyana Student Society UGSS is currently being run by its Junior Vice President Marisha Bowen. According to UGSS Secretary Adele Lilly, the executive committee now consists 18 members since the resignation of UGSS Senior Vice President Mahendra Dori Sami and Public Relations Officer Amir Dilawar. He noted that the body continues to focus and listen to the concerns of students. Lilly said the society has noted the need for a number of infrastructural works to be undertaken, however it is not within their control since funds are needed for such. He stated that infrastructure on the campus is insufficient, causing students to fetch furniture from one classroom to another. The existing furniture is, however, in a deplorable condition while classrooms remain hot. As such, Lilly noted that they are hoping to have corporate Guyana and private stakeholders on board so as to correct the burning issues. He added that the UGSS is also of the view that government can do more in terms of its financial support to the tertiary institution. In the meantime, he said the body will continue to place emphasis on issues it can address, such as advocacy for students' welfare. The UGSS body was the center of attention in April-May this year when its president Ganesh Mahipal was sent on leave owing to financial misrepresentations. For the Evening News, Leanna Bradshaw.
In the courts, 34-year-old Param Pusod appeared in court today to answer to the charge which read that on May 24, he drove minibus BKK 1948 in a manner dangerous to the public, causing the death of Helena Margaret Jones. Pusod was represented by attorney Gordon Gilhouse, who made an application for bail stating that his client was already placed on $100,000 bail and is not a flight risk. He explained that the only means his client had of supporting his family was the minibus, and since the accident, his license has been suspended. The bail was then set at $200,000. The Donald Ramotar administration will continue to initiate programs to combat human trafficking in Guyana, but the battle cannot be fought alone as all stakeholders must play a role, as the ministers of government said on Wednesday. Swatlana Marshall reports.
Home Affairs Minister Clement Roy on Wednesday ruled out the notion that trafficking in person is a major social issue in the country. However, he said it will be fought vigorously.
We do not see trafficking in persons as a major social issue in this country. Now, you're free to disagree with us. We are committed as a government to fighting this problem of trafficking in persons, big or small. We're talking now about the social phenomenon. We are committed as a matter of principle, also based on the conventions that we've signed, to fighting trafficking in persons. We're committed to that.
In supporting Minister Rohi, Labour Minister Dr. Nanda Gopal said, for years the Ministry of Labour, Human Services and Social Security has been pursuing the issue of human trafficking, but only managed to come up with a few cases in the hinterland.
While throughout the coastland, we have visited nearly at an average of 13 to 1,500 workplaces every year, we have not been able to find incidents of trafficking at these workplaces. You hear, by the time you move, sometimes they escape the net. Of recent times, we have been able to pick up a few cases in the hinterland location and bringing people from the hinterland into one or two other areas.
Additionally, he applauded the Guyana Police Force for its proactive and responsive approaches to addressing human trafficking. For the month, approximately 3 persons have been remanded to prison for allegedly trafficking young women into mining communities. Meanwhile, Minister of Natural Resources and the Environment Robert Prasad advocated for a collective effort to bring an end to this form of modern-day slavery. He said, firstly, there must be an acknowledgement that the problem exists. Then there must be the innate desire to stand up against it. The government of Ghana, he says, has a zero tolerance for human trafficking.
And we want to make it absolutely clear that there is zero tolerance for issues, whether it's trafficking in persons, whether the issues of child labor, whether it be issues of prostitution, where we have issues of illicit drugs, where we have any other unbecoming social behavior in conflict with our laws, that there's zero tolerance. And all of us have to support that. But I want to make it absolutely clear too, that we must not see this as something that is a product of the mining sector and allow that to overshadow the other benefits.
The ministers of government were addressing stakeholders at the Guyana International Conference Center on social ills within the mining sector. Reporting for the Evening News, I am Svetlana Marshall.
Today, a man was brought before Magistrate Faith Magosti at the Georgetown Magistrates Court after he was charged with damage to property. It was alleged on July 30th Avenue of the Republic, Alan Dubé unlawfully and maliciously damaged two vehicle wheels, valuing a total of $113,680, the movable property of the Ministry of Public Works. He was not required to plead to the charge read against him. Dubé told the court that he is 29 years old and has a fixed place of abode at E. Hatfield Street. He stated that he is currently employed as a taxi driver and is a student pilot. Attorney Gordon Gilhouse made an application for reasonable bail. There were no objections put forward by the prosecution, and Magistrate Magosti placed the bail at $50,000. The matter is set to return to court on September 5. And the Leonora Police Station on the west coast of Demerara today received donations of a quantity of marshalling wand through collaborative efforts of the Guyana National Road Safety Council and the West Demerara Road Safety Council. According to President of the West Coast Demerara Road Safety Council, the donation is one that is geared to empower the traffic department to keep the roads safe. More news still ahead. Stay tuned. You're watching the Evening News. This is the Evening News. Welcome back. The proposal put forward by the Partnership for National Unity, APNU, to have a commission of inquiry into the education sector was overturned by the government of Guyana. Let's find out more from Svetlana Marshall.
A commission of inquiry into the state of affairs of the education sector is unnecessary, head of the Presidential Secretariat, Dr. Roger Lungeon, said as he addressed the press at the office of the President today. The Cabinet Secretary said the opposition has access to all critical information pertaining to the education system, dating back to the days when the People's National Congress led the country from 1964 to 1992. Additionally, he said information is readily available from the time the People's Progressive Party Civic took control in 1992.
Where the documentation exists of the sustained investments that have been made. And to recognize these results that we are seeing, not as a flash in the pan, not as a miracle, but work, concrete work that has been done by successive PPP civic administration in this sector. The pumping of money, the implementation of national strategic plans.
Dr. Lungeon further pointed out that Guyana has already achieved the Millennium Development Goal in the area of universal primary education. This achievement did not occur due to luck, but rather through investment and sustainable programs. He opined that APNU should join with the government in praising the Education Minister, Priya Manik Chan, for the major steps made in the education sector.
And I think if the detractors, including APNU, the skeptics, were to, in a balanced way, to put their prejudices behind them, they would, they should, they cannot help but, as Cabinet is, commending our minister for the work that has been done and the plans for even more work.
Last week, APNU's chairman David Granger said the call for a COI into the education sector was made based on the results from the National Grade 6 Assessment, Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate, and Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination. According to the opposition leader, children are not adequately equipped with the necessary attitudes and abilities to thrive through adulthood and to operate in the world of work. Reporting for the Evening News, I am Svetlana Marshall.
Scores of pig farmers on the Essequibo coast are calling for a feed factory as well as a breeding station to be set up in Region 2. This request was made by farmers at a special meeting held by the Guyana Swine Producers Cooperative Society in Anna Regina. Chairman of the Essequibo branch of the Swine Producers Cooperative Society, Vincent Collins, called on the farmers who attended the meeting to work together in moving the industry forward. He said the erection of the factory will require land from the state to set up the breeding station. He said once that station is set up, then feed will be available to farmers at a cheap cost. Collins, who has a wealth of experience in the field, said the cost of feed is the major factor affecting farmers. In case you've just joined us, you're watching the Evening News. Stay tuned for sport, which is sponsored by Macor after the break. This is the Evening News. Welcome back. Now for a look at what's happening in sport. In the headlines, the Australian Aaron Finch slams 156 in T20 match. Crandon not taking TNT lightly this weekend, and Paralympic workshop on the way. Now for the details. We start off with some cricket news. Australian batsman Aaron Finch rewrote cricket record books earlier today, slamming a magnificent 156 to power his team to a 39-run victory in the first T20 match against England at the Rose Bowl. Finch opened the innings and immediately launched an assault on the Englishmen, belting 14 sixes and 11 fours on his way to the highest individual T20 score, surpassing Brendan McCullum's 123. With just under 3 overs to go, Finch was threatening to surpass Chris Gale's all-time record score of 175, but his innings was just as destructive as the tall Jamaican. The right-hander brought up his century of just 47 balls, and his entire innings spanned a mere 63 deliveries, powering Australia to a commanding 248 for 6. In reply, Joe Root led a brilliant England effort, ending on 90 not out from 49 balls as the hosts managed 209 for 6. The combined total of 457 runs was the highest aggregate for a T20 match anywhere in the world. Locally, head coach of the Guyana national T20 team, Eason Crandon, says his players are ready to face Trinidad and Tobago Red Force this weekend in 2 warm-up games at the Guyana National Stadium. TVG caught up with Crandon earlier today as he was leading his players through a training session at the Everest ground. Here are details. The TNT squad is missing some key players in the likes of Sunil Narain, Kieran Pollard and the Bravo brothers, Dwayne and Darren, but Crandon insists his camp will not be taking the visitors lightly. The matches are being held to give the TNT players some much-needed practice as they prepare to represent the Caribbean in the upcoming Champions League T20 tournament.
Yeah, definitely. It's cricket at the end of the day, and I think this team go out and execute their plans and stuff better. Going to come out on top. End of the day, we cannot take them lightly, even their weak or strong. We want to go out and play good cricket and execute our plans well, support and give the Guyanese public something to smile about. The former national fast bowler said with the Guyana squad boosted with the addition of Limacall's CPL MVP Krish Morrison-Toki, he is looking forward to a solid contribution from the Jamaican fast bowler come Friday and Saturday. Definitely is a boost for us. MVP in the last CPL tournament. Definitely we're looking forward for his contribution in this game coming up, so it'll be good for us.
Meanwhile, regular skipper Ramnarish Sarwan will miss both matches, having picked up a wrist injury. He will be out of action for the next 4 weeks, and according to Crandon, all-rounder Christopher Barnwell will take over the reins as captain.
I think you're going to miss his leadership ability and leadership skills and stuff. Definitely his ability. He's a very good player as well. Didn't get much in this tournament, but obviously we know the caliber player Ramnarish Sarwan is, and he will be missed by the players as well.
Both matches will bowl off at 20 hours, and admission to the venue is $1,000 on both nights. The Guyana squad is Christopher Barnwell, Narsing Dion Versami Primal, Devendra Bishu, Leon Johnson, Stephen Jacobs, Trevon Griffith, Paul Wins, Keon Joseph, Anthony Bramble, Zahir Mohammed, Rajiv Ivan, Robin Bacchus, and Krishmar Santoki. The TNT squad is Lendell Simmons, Evan Lewis, Nicholas Sugdeo Singh, Jason Mohammed, Dinesh Ramdin, Riyad Emrit, Imran Khan, Ravi Rampal, Samuel Badre, Sherwin Ganga, Kishan Otley, Nicholas Puran, Shannon Gabriel, Navin Stewart, and Adrian Barat. Still in cricket, the inaugural Lime McCall Caribbean Premier League has named its team of the tournament. The team, a playing 11 plus a 12th man, and in batting order is Andre Fletcher, Chris Gale captain, Lendell Simmons, Shoaib Malik, James Franklin, Andre Russell, Marlon Samuels, Shakib Al Hassan, Riyad Emrit, Krishmar Santoki, Mutaya Murlidharan, and Ashley Nurse. The side, which includes 6 players from the finalists, the Jamaica Tallawahs and the Ghana Amazon Warriors, was chosen on the basis of it being balanced and, as a result, theoretically capable of playing a match. Selections were made from performances in the tournament only. Past records and repetitions were not taken into consideration. The captain was only selected once the side had been chosen. Squash news. Guyana Squash Association Vice President Ronald Birch Smith was recently unanimously elected to succeed Barbadian Craig Archer as President of the Caribbean Area Squash Association, CASA. After serving as the association's secretary for the past 4 years, Birch Smith switched positions with Archer, who emerged as the body's secretary when the elections took place at the Georgetown Club. Archer was ineligible for re-election, having served a maximum 2 terms provided for in the association's constitution, and so Birch Smith was nominated for the position. Birch Smith will serve a period of 2 years until the next elections in 2015, during which time the Guyanese has high hopes of development of squash across the region. With focus on setting the groundwork for a 5-year strategic plan, the National Paralympic Committee of Guyana today commenced a 3-day workshop at the Guyana Olympic Association headquarters. The event is being conducted by Kenneth McKell of Trinidad and Tobago. Details in this report. President of the National Paralympic Committee of Guyana, Wilton Spencer, said the ultimate aim of the workshop is to lay the foundation for a 5-year strategic plan to ensure a proper structure is in place to administer the discipline. He said it is against this backdrop that a local committee has solicited the services of Kenneth McKell, who is the president of the Trinidad and Tobago National Paralympic Committee and chairman of the Caribbean Associations. Spencer noted that McKell has a wealth of experience in the Paralympic movement and is also very knowledgeable in the formation of strategic plans.
We hope that by Saturday, this document will be ready. We have the executives that are at work, and Mr. McKell, he is now piloting and opening our minds as to what to expect and how to enlightening us as to how to proceed as we move forward in preparing the strategic plan.
Spencer added that with the next Paralympic Games to be hosted in neighboring Brazil, the possibility of Guyana participating in that event is highly likely, as there are at least 2 athletes who could qualify for those games.
That also is food for thought. I know we have 2 athletes who do have the potential for the upcoming Paralympic Games. 1 cyclist and 1 tennis player.
The 2 athletes Spencer was referring to are table tennis player Safraz Gibran Hussain and cyclist Walter Grant Short, both of whom have lost a limb. And finally, some athletics news. The 4th annual Neil and Massey 10K road race and 5 km fitness walk will take place on September 15 to coincide with the group of company's 45th anniversary celebrations. Dio Posor, the group's chief executive officer, in remarks to the launch on Wednesday, said this year's event is very significant to the group, which is celebrating a significant milestone in Guyana. National distant runners Cleveland Ford and Alika Morgan, who were both present at the launch, have dominated the event from its inception and have expressed confidence in defending their respective titles. The race will start in front of Ainlim head office at Rheinveld and will proceed to Providence on the east bank of Demerara before returning to Ainlim for the finish. Attractive prizes will be awarded to the top athletes in several categories, including male and female open, boys and girls, and masters male and female. Participants of the 5 km fitness walk will start at the Demerara Harbour Bridge Junction and finish at Ainlim. And with that, we've come to the end of sport. Of course, you can find these stories and more in tomorrow's edition of the Guyana Times. And here's an invitation to join us on TVG Channel 28 and on Radio Guyana Inc. 89.3 in Essequibo, 89.5 in Georgetown and Environs, and 89.7 in Berbice and Unicary, Suriname. Stay tuned, your Bridge reports are next. This is the Evening News. Welcome back. Now for a look at your bridge reports. The Damara Harbour Bridge will be closed on Friday, August 30 at 10 hours 30 for a period of 1.5 hours. And the Berbice River Bridge will be closed on Friday, August 30 at 9 hours 45 for a period of 1.5 hours. And with that, we've come to the end of the Evening News for Thursday, August 29, 2013. I'm Afanash Ramzan. Thanks for watching.